Did you know that questions about prioritizing long term goals over short term goals are pretty common in a job interview? In this video, I will provide an answer to the question. Tell me about a time when you gave up short term goals for long term goals. So, why is this important? Companies hire candidates that can demonstrate their ability to stay connected to the longer term vision and goals of the organization. And your ability to articulate achieving big long term goals will demonstrate both your strategic thinking and your leadership capabilities. Let's dive in. So, as always, let's imagine our fake interviewer is Sue. She asks us that question, and I say, "Hey, Sue, thanks so much. Great question. As a management consultant at Alpha Consulting Group, I was assigned to a project aimed at transforming the supply chain processes for a major client, Omega Electronics, a leading consumer electronics manufacturer. The company faced significant challenges with inventory management and high operational costs, which required immediate improvement to stay competitive. So, my responsibility was to redesign the supply chain to reduce costs and improve efficiency. The timeline for the initial phase was 6 months, with the understanding that the full implementation would take about 2 years. So, I started by conducting a thorough analysis of Omega Electronics' current supply chain processes, collecting data from their ERP system, and conducting interviews with key stakeholders. This really involved three steps: accessing and interpreting historical data from the ERP, creating detailed process maps, and identifying key pain points through stakeholder interviews. Despite the pressure to show quick wins, I focused on comprehensive data collection to inform long term solutions. As part of the initial planning, I developed a strategic plan focusing on long term goals such as reducing inventory levels and optimizing logistics. This involved outlining a phased approach to implementation, prioritizing their key initiatives, and aligning them with the client's business objectives. I emphasized sustainable improvements over immediate fixes, which required convincing stakeholders to invest time and resources now for future benefits. Next, I facilitated discussions with senior management and operations teams to align on the strategic vision and obtain their buy in. So I had to present my initial findings, discuss potential strategies, and address concerns related to the long term challenges versus the short term gains. I had to manage expectations by explaining that short term disruptions were necessary for achieving those lasting results. I then led a pilot program to test the proposed changes in a controlled environment, focusing in on just one product line to start. We used A B testing to compare the new process against the old, gathering data on efficiency improvements and cost reductions. This allowed us to make data driven adjustments before a full scale rollout, reinforcing the importance of thorough testing over immediate deployment. After testing, I managed the phased implementation of the new supply chain processes, ensuring close collaboration with cross functional teams. This involved regular feedback sessions, risk assessments, and leveraging project management tools, in this case, Asana, to track progress and address issues promptly. Despite pressure to scale quickly, I insisted on a measured approach to mitigate risks and ensure long term success. So once the new supply chain processes were launched across all product lines in a staggered manner to mitigate risks, I involved coordinating with logistics, manufacturing, and IT teams to ensure seamless integration and minimal disruption to ongoing operations. The staggered launch was a deliberate choice to ensure sustainable implementation rather than rushing to show these immediate results. Then I presented the interim results to the executive team, highlighting early wins and outlining the long term benefits. This included a detailed report showing initial cost savings and efficiency gains, supported by data visualizations, which I created in Tableau. I emphasized how these interim successes were building blocks for the larger, longer term transformation. Lastly, I documented all the new processes, incorporating lessons learned and best practices to ensure continuous monitoring and optimization. This included creating a comprehensive process manual and setting up a dashboard for real time performance tracking. And I focused on creating a robust framework that would support ongoing improvements and adaptability. And the results: by prioritizing long term goals over short term goals, We achieved a 15% reduction in inventory costs and a 20% increase in supply chain efficiency within our first year. The successful implementation of these changes not only improved Omega Electronics' competitiveness, but also established a scalable model for future process improvements. The new processes, technologies, and collaborative approach were adopted as best practices across other divisions as well, demonstrating repeatable success in aspects such as people, technology, and process perspectives. And that's it. You could likely hear in my answer that I put extra emphasis at the end of each action, how this focus on the long term was beneficial to all the parties involved. And as always, my answers are pretty robust. The intent is to show you the level of depth that will absolutely engage your interviewers and make you more memorable. Good luck.